All right, so hello and welcome to Math 134, which is Calculus 1 for the summer 2018 session. My name is Mike Deal, and I will be your instructor for this semester. And this is just an intro video to, kind of preview the course, get you set up with uh, just an orientation, I guess, of everything and how the course will be administered, which is mostly here in front of you in Canvas. And just to sort of get you going so that you can begin the course. And so mainly I will just be on a couple of different things here. Our Canvas page, which you see in front of you here, which is obviously where you're watching this video. And then also, I'll just go over the syllabus for the course, which is posted right here in the first module here in Canvas. So first, maybe I'll actually go over to the syllabus to begin with. And so here, if you want to open it up or follow along, is fine. I'll just go over this briefly, and this contains most of the details, and then, like I said, I'll mention a few things or point out a few things in Canvas to just show you where things are, and then you'd be good to go. So, right, so this is Math 134, and this is a 4-credit version of calculus, which, at least at Endicott, is new this year. I should say I teach in the math and computer science department full-time year-round, and we switched over to this 4-credit format last year, well, in the fall. So it's been in existence for about a year now, and I've in person taught the 4-credit version both semesters this past academic year. So, and mainly the largest difference just being that there is a recitation period in the in-person version of this course, and then for the online version of the course, the recitation activities are also going to be posted for you guys to try. So anyway, but the course is fully online, so and mostly asynchronous in that you can kind of work on your own pace. There are due dates for everything, but you can work ahead, which is probably encouraged to a degree, especially in a summer course like this, and should hopefully be able to, sort of keep up with us or keep up with the class. I have it paced so that it's reasonable, but you may need to work ahead, especially if you have conflicts or things like that this summer. So anyway, the official dates for the course are July 10th through the end of August, which is about, I guess it's more like 7 weeks or 6 weeks, or 8 weeks, depending on how you sort of slice that up, which is an accelerated course for sure. In a typical semester in person, this would be 15 weeks, so it's about double speed, I guess. But certainly doable in this time window. So, there's me. So I do have an office on campus, which I'm not really in very often in the summer. So probably you won't see me in there. And so probably also don't call me, because I also don't really check my my voicemail except for when I happen to pop into the office occasionally in the summer. So, but for sure, if you need me, please email, and I should be reasonably good to get back to you. I am traveling and I'm on vacation for a good portion, actually, of this course. But we'll have, internet contact and whatnot, so should be able to get back to you reasonably quickly if you do have questions. This is a small class, and so there aren't too many of you guys in the class, so that should hopefully make it easier, a little easier on me, to hopefully get back to you and answer any questions that you might have. Course description, I'll let you read this, but it might as well just say this is an introductory course to calculus, because that's what it is. So that's pretty much what all of that says. In terms of the prerequisite for the course, informally, I guess, or formally, perhaps, the prerequisite is trigonometry or pre-calc, as you might have called it, if in a high school course or even in a college level course. Um, Pre-calc obviously should come before calculus, but basically it's the algebra and trigonometry skills out of pre-calculus that in particular you should be hopefully comfortable with. Um, Hopefully you've taken those courses sometime recently. If you Even if you have, hopefully you remember most of the things, or again, the algebra and trig is probably the most important thing. We will spend the first week doing pre-calc review, which should hopefully remind you of some things that I'm sure you knew at some point. Um, but if you do find yourself kind of stuck on those sorts of issues, really do seek out the YouTube and elsewhere on the internet for advice. For the most part, if you can sort of identify the thing that you're having an issue with, there's probably 500 videos of someone reminding you of how to factor, or what's the quadratic formula, or things like that. And so those are usually pretty easy for you to maybe just plug a hole if you have a little bit of a gap in something that you might have forgotten. Um, but as long as you're reasonably comfortable with all of that, that's really the only prerequisite. Some people have taken calculus. Typically, I might walk in, especially to the in-person version of the class, and half of the people have already taken some version of a calculus course, or half a semester calculus sort of in high school or whatever, and that's fine if you have. Some of these terms might sound familiar then, but it's fine if you haven't. This is definitely designed to be sort of from scratch thing. So, okay, and if you're an Endicott student, especially in the day division, this is, of course, satisfies a quantitative reasoning requirement for the college, and if you're a science major or any sort of STEM major, this is a required course for you. But okay, so that's the course. It is a very typical traditional course. If you have friends at other schools that have taken or are going to be taking Calc 1, they're going to be doing the same topics that we're doing because it's a very sort of standard thing. So if you're not an Endicott student and you're transferring this credit back to your school, we should cover all of the topics that would be assumed that you would know about at your institution as well. So, okay, here's an outline of the topics that we're going to go over. Again, if you've taken some calculus, maybe you know a little bit about some of these things, but if you know nothing of these things, except for maybe some of this pre-calc stuff, that's fine. This is just a chart to kind of give you some idea about time, sort of weekly and topical time estimates, I suppose. A good rule, I would say a good estimate is to budget for about 20 hours a week, which sounds like a lot when you say it that way, I guess. But, I think you will find that some things will come more naturally, and maybe you'll be a little bit less than that if you're not needing to rewatch videos and redo things, which you may or may not need to do. But also, even if it is 20 hours in a week, that's not that tough if you can dedicate, some weeknights, and certainly some time on weekends. It certainly is doable. I do say that up front just to sort of put it out there, though, that if you're incredibly busy with, life and work, and maybe you're taking another class, and, if you really only feel like you have a few hours a week to dedicate to this class, unless you're a calculus genius, that's probably not going to be enough. So do think about that, I guess, and just make sure that you're willing to spend some serious time. Most people, I've run it in this online format probably about 4 or 5 summers in a row now, and I think most people have found that they have enough time. So it isn't as though this is so overwhelming that it's going to, be your entire life for the next 8 weeks. But it should be a primary part of your life, I guess. And you should, again, especially in weeks where there's exams or other things, you might especially want to make sure that you have some time to dedicate to the course. Okay, so moving on, there's some learning outcomes, which hopefully those are things you will do and learn about. I put this a little bit in a funny order, I guess. Actually, I'm going to just scroll ahead to, I'll come back to that. An important question, let me answer immediately, is that there's no textbook for the course. And generally, my philosophy on that is that I know that math textbooks especially can sometimes be a little bit hard to understand. I think that especially in an online class where we have no face-to-face contact, it's pretty tough to say, well, read this chapter, in the book and hopefully you understand stuff, because I know that that's tough. So anyway, there's a lot of reasons why it's kind of, I don't think, necessary to have a textbook for the class, which I don't think anybody should be too upset about. But I will tell you everything that you need to know in the video lectures that are prepared for the course. So you don't need a book. I will, though, however, say a lot of students do like to have a book just for extra reference, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I would say if you're looking for a physical book, like an actual paper book, peruse Amazon and find something that is cheap. And anything that's calculus of any flavor is fine. There's a million different calculus textbooks. I'm sure they all cover these topics. Or I would say, to be honest, use the internet. I mean, there's lots of resources out there, and plenty of people who either in video format or in print format have lots and lots of materials to help you with any topic. That you might need some extra practice problems or other things like that. I would say that probably is the only thing that you're really missing, perhaps, by not having a textbook, is that you don't have a million problems, example problems and homework problems to look at. I give you some homework problems, of course, but if you are looking for more, I mean, in all seriousness, just Google whatever topic we're doing, and the word example or something like that, or sample problems or whatever, and you'll find a million problems, probably some of which are even the same ones that I go over in class. And so there's a wealth of knowledge out there that you don't really need to pay for. So, okay, anyway, so no textbook needed. So don't worry about ordering anything or things like that. You do want to make sure you have a calculator of some sort. If you have a TI whatever that a lot of people have from high school, that's fine. That's certainly plenty. If you don't have a calculator at all, you can get by quite possibly with a calculator on your phone. The one thing, though, that often you don't get on a phone calculator are trig, and in particular inverse trig and logarithm capabilities. So if you are going to invest in buying something, you should be able to get something for $25 at a Target or something like that. Just make sure it has more than just the basics. It should be able to do, again, inverse trig and logarithms. But as long as you have something like that, you should be just fine to do. And you're mostly going to use this for computation and mostly for trig and for logarithms, because most of the rest of it you're going to be able to, it's just going to be simple math that you can hopefully do, either without a calculator, or you could just use a basic calculator to do some simple computations. So, okay, so do make sure you have that, though. Your grade in the course is based primarily on exams. So there'll be a midterm exam, a final exam, and then there'll be weekly quizzes, and that's your whole grade. So since there is no textbook, there is also no graded homework, even though there is homework, which I'll explain in a little bit. So all of your grade comes from assessments, quizzes or exams, which is the way I teach this course even in person. I don't think that you get quite as much out of doing homework as you do of doing quizzes and things like that. And so the quizzes, which you'll do many of, are worth far less, so that's sort of your practice time. So that on the exams, which admittedly, this is an accelerated course, so we can't do 4. I do 5 exams during the regular semester, but we have such a short window here that we just do a midterm and a final, which of course are worth most of your grade. So, but if you're doing fine with the homework and the quizzes and everything else, you should find that you'll do okay on the exams as well. So let me say a little bit about those things, then I'll cycle back up to the portion that I skipped. So we'll have a midterm and a final. Obviously, since you're going to be taking them on your own, they're open notes because I can't really stop you from using your notes. And any sort of other things that you've accumulated, if you've, again, watched some videos and gotten some good advice and taken notes on those, that's fine. There are videos which I'll show you in Canvas for the course. You're obviously welcome to watch those during the exams. But please no other sources, mostly just looking stuff up online, specific problems. That would always be not a great idea. um, and in general, that's not really even going to be all that helpful because the problems that you'll have on the exam will be very specific. So anyway, but the exams and the quizzes are timed. And so while you can use your notes, there isn't a lot of time during an exam to go look stuff up, So um, my, advice would be to be, prepare for exams in the same way that you prepare for a regular math exam that you've taken hundreds of in your lifetime. Studying and getting your sort of study notes ready. And the benefit of it being open notes is you don't have to memorize anything. You can, have things you can refer to your notes. But the worst thing that I think people sometimes do in an online class, especially with an open notes kind of an exam, is to be like, cool, the exam's open notes, so I can just start it, and then if there's stuff I don't know, I'll look them up in my notes. And that generally is not a great idea because, of course, if there's lots of stuff that you don't know, you're going to run out of time. And moreover, again, the problems on the exam, they're going to be brand new problems that you've never seen before. So you're not really going to find examples in your notes to copy and use. So anyway, but my advice, study sort of normally how you've always studied for exams. And then, but the good news is that if you do need to look a couple of things up or you need to remind yourself of one or two things, you can during the exam. These will be paper and pencil. The exams will be paper and pencil. So, and how that's going to work, I'll show you in Canvas, is that basically the exam will be posted on Canvas, but you will unlock it when you're ready to take it. And then from that is sort of the moment where your clock will begin. And then you'll have an allotted amount of time to complete the exam. But rather than completing it on your computer, which would be awkward, because math exams aren't really great on a computer, what I'll ask you to do is actually just print out or view the exam on your screen and then just do it on paper. Complete the problems and show your work and all that stuff on paper. And then just scan and upload your work, your completed exam. And you can either upload it to Canvas or you can even just email me if you aren't super Canvas savvy, which I think works pretty well. I think in general, the students have been pretty happy that it's been a traditional kind of paper pencil exam rather than trying to do something, even multiple choice, which I know sounds like that might be a good thing, with the whole, if you have like sort of one step wrong in a problem that has 10 steps, you're probably not going to get any of the multiple choice answers. And so it's much better for you to be able to turn something in that has, again, one step out of 10 wrong, that I could still see, oh, okay, well, you did most of this right. And so anyway, this is the best way. It's a little bit sort of low tech, I suppose, but I think it actually is the best for you guys and for me too. I can see sort of better what you did. And since the exams are most of your grade, I do want to make sure to give you all the credit that's possible anyway. So right. So I'll show you this in Canvas though. So that's the exams. I think I should have removed that sentence. You won't schedule a time. I've finally figured out how to rig Canvas to let you self-schedule. So anyway, so yeah, I'll show you in Canvas what I mean by that. Right. So since you are gonna, since you are gonna send me your results, people do it in different ways. If you have a scanner or a scan app, even I think there's PDF scan apps on a lot of phones. You could do it that way. You could feed it into sort of a traditional scanner if that's what you have, or if you have none of those things and aren't super tech savvy, you can just take pictures of, it'll be probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages. You could just take pictures of each of them and then email the photos to me, and or upload the photos to Canvas, and that's fine. Okay, but do make sure you at least know how to do that. And if you have questions about that, hopefully you can maybe find find someone who's good at doing basic, just taking photos and then attaching them to an email or uploading them through an app. Homework. So there will be weekly homework assignments, which I'll show you in Canvas, but there is no collecting of the homework. So I will expect that you've completed them and fully understand them, and I really do actually mean this. I say this in class and in an in-person class and sort of stare at students, I guess, so I pretend I'm doing that, I guess, right now, that if you say, oh, cool, he posted some problems, well, he's not collecting them, so I probably don't need to do them. I mean, that's probably the worst thing you could do. Second worst thing you could do would be to look at the problems for 5 minutes and then look through the solutions that I've also posted to the problems. That's pretty much just as bad as having not even tried them. So all of this is just to say that what you really should do is sit down with the homework problems that are posted for every topic and do them. And, spend hours, many, many hours in some cases, doing them. Try to do them without your notes if you can, but if you are stuck, certainly look back through your notes and try to see if you can figure out, look at some of the examples and see if you can figure it out. If all else fails and you're totally helplessly stuck, do look at the solutions, which will be posted with each assignment. And do be very critical, though, when you look through them. It's one thing if it's these stupid, oh my gosh, I did algebra wrong and I canceled and okay, fine. You can probably reasonably quickly move past that. But just, one danger thing would be to say, well, I was totally lost on 3 of the 10 problems, but now that I look through his solutions even for 10 or 15 minutes, I think I feel good about them. Maybe. But it'd be much better to try to see if you can explain to yourself, or you're even welcome to ask me or try to explain it to me via email, just to make sure that you really get it. It's tempting, I think, as humans. We can look at solutions and very quickly sometimes convince ourselves that we're good, when in reality, maybe not so much. So do be careful with them, I guess. But do the homework problems. And then I didn't actually put it in the syllabus here, but I'll just mention it. The other thing that you'll see posted on Canvas are recitation problems, and these are basically the same as homework. Now, again, in the in-person version of this course, the recitation is a period that we meet to do these problems sort of as groups, and since we don't really have that luxury with the online format, you should really think of them just sort of as extra homework problems, or I might even phrase some of them as sort of like challenge problems. And you maybe will notice when you look at them, some of them will seem like a little bit harder probably than the homework, and maybe even a little bit harder than stuff that we went over. And the idea there is that, I'm trying to get you to think and sort of explore a little bit beyond just the sort of easy and medium level understanding, and try to think more abstractly and more scientifically about some of these things. So do those as well. So I'll show you on Canvas. They'll also be posted, and there are solutions to those posted as well. And I would say same idea applies, that do try them and do spend quite a bit of time with them before you look to the solutions to see how you did. Okay. The quizzes, which will be on Canvas for each topic, are graded, so those are real. These are multiple choice questions. And you'll see when you go in there, it's not great. It's not the best format. Like I said, I think a better format in general to learn math and to be assessed on it is to do it paper and pencil. But out of the expediency of the online format, the quizzes at least, which aren't worth nearly as much as the exams, are multiple choice, and they are administered in Canvas. So you'll click on those. Hopefully you've taken a Canvas course before, but a Canvas quiz just goes very smoothly, I think. These are also timed. Most of them are an hour. But I think for two of them, which are a little bit longer, I think I give you 90 minutes instead of 60. Um, but the quizzes are you should be okay if you're understanding the homework and the recitation for the week, and the examples from the lecture. You should feel reason like you know the quizzes aren't totally crazy compared to that stuff. So obviously you can use your notes to complete the quizzes, but again, I would recommend studying at least lightly, so that you make sure you sort of have your ducks in a row, since you don't have that much time to do the quizzes either. Um, so, um, let me scroll back up to whatever I skipped up here. Oh, right, which is notes. So, of course, in addition to all that assessment stuff to determine your grade, the more important piece is how are you going to learn the course and learn the material. Um, and I'll show you in Canvas, there are videos that I've recorded, and it's basically just me narrating over PowerPoint slides and me writing. So I made them like in a notebook, like a tablet, sorry, a tablet laptop. So it's me writing and talking to you. So it's basically the same as being in the classroom, except, you don't physically see me, but you will hear me and you'll see basically the blackboard or the whiteboard, which is pretty good. I think it's, for the most part, a pretty good simulation. And when I teach this class in person, I actually post all of the videos that you're going to watch, for students in case they, miss a day or just want to sort of see the lecture again. Right, so that's how you're going to learn all the material. I do recommend that you take notes just like you would in a traditional classroom. Again, it's going to be a lot of videos and a lot of scrolling around and trying to find stuff during an exam. It'd be much better if you have nice notes so that you can sort of quickly refer to things. Plus, there are obviously examples in the videos that we're going to go over, and I don't think I pause a whole lot in the videos, but you should absolutely pause me during the videos if you want to try a problem sort of on your own, and try the problem, and then unpause me or rewatch or whatever. But do take notes. I think that is actually really, really important. And do try all the examples. You can even do the homework and the recitation stuff sort of right in your notebook. That way it's sort of all together. Obviously, everything from the class is on our Canvas page, which you've obviously gotten to since you're here. The lecture videos should play right in Canvas. They're YouTube videos, so you also can play them in YouTube. You just sort of click on the little icon. I'll show you. The only complaint I've heard sometimes from students is that the volume isn't super loud, and I think that's usually just mostly because people don't necessarily always have their volume turned all the way up. And I've had some other people say that even with their volume turned all the way up, they might have some issues. So if all else fails, try headphones. I think that always seems to do the trick. That if you're having trouble hearing the videos, if you have some headphones, just plug them in, and hopefully that should do the trick. I think I said a lot of this already, so maybe I can skip all of this. Good. Okay, so I think that's it for the syllabus. If you do get extended time or other testing accommodations, let me know, and I can arrange that through Canvas. Okay, so that's the syllabus. Let me close that. Okay, so here we are on a Canvas page. So I just wanted to show you a few things, and then you're good to go. So the course, so where am I right now? I'm on modules. So if you're not familiar with modules, you can click on that. Modules is just a way to sort of organize the course topically, and sort of also chronologically. So if when you go to your home or whenever you click on our course page, if it doesn't already bring you to something that looks sort of like this, just click on modules over here, and it should take you to something that looks similar to this. So for each module, for each week, let me just go to sort of a more typical week. I'll go to week 2 here. You'll generally see several things. There might be some handouts, and those are files, or this is a chart that you're going to use and stuff like that. So there might be some stuff like that. But the most important things are that there's always going to be a link to video lectures and homework problems. You'll be able to see that in every single week, video lectures and homework problems. And when you click on one of those, I'll just click on this one, I guess, you'll see, well, as the title suggested, video lectures. And again, these are just YouTube videos. So if you click, you can play them right here, and they'll play. Let me just mute this so you don't hear me in stereo. So they will play right here if you want. Or I think if you click on this, the YouTube logo, it'll pop it out into a YouTube player. You can make it full screen if you want a larger view, and you can turn the captioning on, which actually some people like to do just to kind of see the words in addition to following along. So so those are the videos. For most of the weeks, there are several videos. Let me pause that. And I sort of tried to at least title, what the video is about. This week, I guess, has 5 videos, I guess. So watch all of them, obviously. This is, generally speaking, about 2 weeks' worth of lectures. So there's, like I said, 4 or 5 videos in each week. In terms of amount of time, it varies. But again, probably 4 or 5 hours a week of just video watching for each module. And then the other thing you'll see here, if there are handouts, I've either put them sort of at the beginning or the end, or actually I put this handout out in the module itself. But then the last thing you see in each thing are the homework problems. And you'll see 2 things. You'll see something called homework whatever, and then you'll see homework whatever solutions. Obviously, these are solutions, and these are the assignment. These are the problems. So when you click on these, I won't click on it right now. The problems are just a Word document, so you should be able to hopefully open that and see the problems, and then these are just a PDF, which is of me having worked out the solutions in detail. So these aren't just, oh, the answer is 7 and 9 and stuff like that. This is me doing the problems, which is usually, hopefully, pretty helpful. So homework, you'll find at the end of each of these video lectures and homework links. Go back to our homepage here. So you see video lectures and homework problems. And the other thing you'll see for almost every week, I think I combined these 2, which is why there isn't one here, but for every other week or every other module, you'll see something called recitation. So it's in week 1, there's recitation, and then recitation 2 in week 2, and so on and so on. And the recitation, if you click on this, are just more problems. Okay, so again, these are, like I said in the when I was going over the syllabus, these are sort of like exploratory problems or challenge problems or for further thought kinds of problems. So they might be a little bit harder, I guess, or they might be a little bit different than the homework problems. But do these. These will be good practice. And there are also solutions to those for every week as well. Okay, so basically 2 different places to go to for homework problems with solutions. And then after you're done with all of that, so you've watched the videos, you've done the homework problems, you've done the recitation problems, that's when you then say, okay, and you've taken your notes and you're kind of ready to go, then you can try the quiz. So the quiz, when you click on each quiz, yours looks a little bit different than mine, but you'll get a little, this won't really say much, but like I said, you have an hour for each quiz. A couple of them you have 90 minutes, which it'll say here you have 90 minutes instead of an hour. And then I think what it'll look like on your screen is that you'll come down here and it'll say something like start the quiz or do the quiz or something like that. And you click on that button. Now, as soon as you do that, the quiz will open up. The actual quiz will appear on your screen. And in the upper right corner, sort of over here, there'll be a little timer. And it counts down, I think, to show you how much time you have. So when you click on do the quiz or whatever it says, do make sure you're ready to actually do the quiz, because you will only have an hour, or in some cases an hour and a half, to complete it from the time you start it. Okay, so just make sure you're kind of ready to go when you click that button. The quizzes have a variety of numbers of questions. Some of them are shorter than others. The ones that have more questions, generally the idea is that the questions maybe sort of build on each other. And I've maybe broken down what really is only one question, but I've broken it down into a bunch of parts. So, but in any case, I think for the most part, people generally say they have enough time for the quizzes. So the due dates of things are here in Canvas. You have 6 quizzes. Let me get down to the last one, quiz 6. You have 6 quizzes and a midterm and a final, and that's it. So there are 8 things that are actually due for this class, and that's it. So none of the other stuff that you're doing have dates, because there's nothing to turn in for any of these other things. The only things that you're quote-unquote turning in are the 6 quizzes that you're going to complete right in Canvas. So obviously there's nothing to turn in. You're just doing them right in Canvas. And then the midterm and the final, which I'll spend a little bit of time now just giving you a couple of a little orientation on those guys. But everything else is just, information, I guess. The due dates, though, for the quizzes, everything is due on Sunday night. So the first quiz you can see here is due July 15th, which is the first Sunday of our semester. And then everything else is due Sunday. So that's Sunday the 22nd, Sunday the 29th, and so on. Sunday the 5th. Even the midterm is due Sunday the 12th, and so on and so on. Everything is due on Sunday except the final exam, because the semester ends on August 31st, which I believe is a Friday. So the last week is sort of a little bit of a shorter week, but the only thing you have to do in the last week is take the final exam. So, but apart from that, everything else is due Sundays. Now, you're more than welcome to work ahead. You're more than welcome to complete things, everything is posted, so you can do as much as you want in advance. And this is especially important if you have vacations or other things coming up. You're away the last week in July, for example. Then I would say before you go, make sure you've completed, this module, the week 3 module, and maybe even the week 4 one, if you're going to be away, from this week, from the 29th to the 5th or something like that. So you can work ahead. You really don't need to wait and say, oh gosh, it's not week 2 yet. I'm not allowed to start in week 2. Of course you can. You can even do the quiz for week 2. I've had people take the entire course somehow and complete it in like a week, which seems a little crazy to me because that's a lot of hours, but whatever. So it's up to you. So you can self-pace and figure things out. You do have to make sure, though, you do meet the deadlines, though. So you can't turn in quiz 1 after July 15th, or you can't turn in quiz 2 after July 22nd, okay? And that's mostly just because if you get behind, it's just a big mess for all of us. So, okay, sorry. So the last thing I wanted to say then, right, so the exam. So the quizzes, like I said, you're going to take them right in Canvas, so no big deal. The exams, as I mentioned before, you're going to print them out and upload them, do them, and then upload them and send them back to me. So I tried to make this as seamless as possible, even though this maybe looks a little bit crazy. So for each of the exams, the final exam is the same way. The first link is just information. So if you click on that, you'll see here's a whole bunch of information, right? So I'll let you read this when you get here. Oh, there are also review problems here too. So in case you don't have enough examples already to look at, there's some more review problems with solutions here. And here's some advice and blah, 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 and stuff like that. Right, so that's just information. The second link, come back here, to the second link here, this is going to be the actual exam. Now, I'm not going to click on this, but when you click on this, I think I actually can, I'll click on this. There's, again, advice or information. But much like the other quizzes that you're going to take in the course, this will also have something like, so that says, take the quiz now, or something like that. There'll be a button down here. Now, much like all the other quizzes and things you're taking, that will also, of course, start a timer. And so don't click on that until you're actually sitting down and you're ready to take this exam. Now, the only difference between the midterm and the final, as compared to the weekly quizzes, which when you say take the quiz for the weekly quizzes, you're just going to start taking the quiz right here on the screen and punch in your answers and you're done. But for the midterm and the final, when you click take the quiz, you're going to be taken to a page that basically just has a PDF of the exam. And so you're not actually going to take the exam in Canvas. You're instead just going to be given access to that file. You're going to open it up, and you can either just keep it on your screen, or if you want to print it out, you can print it out. And then you're going to do the exam. Now, there is still going to be a clock, and there is still going to be a timer over here that's giving you however much time you have. For the midterm, you have 2.5 hours. I think for the final, I give you 3. So you're still going to be timed, but you're going to do all your work on paper. And you can either, again, if you print out the exam, you can just do it like you would a regular printed exam. If you want to just have the exam on the screen here, it's just a PDF, you can just do the exam on blank paper, and that's fine too. So you're going to work on that for, as long as you need to finish it within the allotted amount of time. And then you're going to say, okay, I'm done. I have these 5 pages of my work. And then that's what you need to then send back to me. So there's going to be I think the best way to do that, I tried to make it so that you could do it here in this quiz, but it's a little bit hinky. So the best thing that I could come up with was to instead say, okay, when you're ready to actually upload your solutions, click on this link, which says upload solutions here. And then you're going to have, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 pages, either in photo format or PDF format or whatever you get from your phone or from your scanner. And then you're going to be able to upload them right here. And hopefully you've taken a Canvas course before, but if you haven't, when you scroll down, there'll be a little, upload box that says, attach files, blah, blah, blah. And you can do as many files as you need. So you might have 6 photos on your phone. You can do all 6 of those photos, and you can put them and upload them right here. Okay, and then you hit something like submit or upload or something like that. And then they'll be here. And you can see that they're here. Again, if you've never uploaded files to Canvas, it's comforting because you'll see, oh, the system says that I've uploaded 6 photos. And great. Okay, as long as they get here uploaded, that's fine. Okay, and it just has to be within the allotted time. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it so that the clock was also appearing here. So anyway, but just, use a regular clock. If you start the exam at, noon, then you have until 2:30 to upload your results here. If you're really freaking out and this isn't working and bad things are happening, email me the photos, and that's fine. Okay. So, but again, just please try to make sure you stay within the time constraints. Okay. All right. Right. So I think that's about it for information. So the whole course, like I said, the whole course is here. So, oh, right. I think it probably says this in the details, but I'll say it anyway. The midterm, which is in week 5, is based on the material from the first 4 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of the material up to and including the chain rule. That's what's covered on the midterm. So as soon as you're done with week 4 material and you've studied for the midterm, you're good to go. Again, you don't have to wait until August 12th. You can take it on August 1st if that's when you happen to be done. So that's the midterm. The final, there are 2 modules or 2 weeks of material after the midterm, optimization and related rates. These are more difficult for sure. These are also largely, or for the most part, these are word problems, which just by their nature, I think, are harder. So these 2 topics, though, use the stuff from the beginning of the course, basically. And these are the main applications. So this is good stuff in here. But it is a little bit harder. So the final exam is cumulative, so it is based on the entire course. However, I would say that its focus is largely on these 2 weeks of material because these are the topics that you haven't been formally sort of tested on aside from these quizzes. Okay, so the midterm is the first 4 weeks of material, and the final exam is the whole course, but with an emphasis on the second half. Okay. So I think that's about it for real this time. So you're good to go. So we've gone over the syllabus, and this is this video that you're watching. So if you're ready to begin the course, start here with week 1. The video lectures and homework problems. Week 1 is pre-calc. And again, if you're very, very good and happy with pre-calc from high school or wherever you might have taken it, then just breeze through these. I think there are 3 videos. Yeah, 3. That are the 3 kind of main areas: basic functions, polynomials and logarithms and exponents, and then trig. So watch them. Again, each one of them is about an hour or so in length. And then try the homework problems. I may sometimes have little notes like skip number 1, which obviously means skip number 1. This course has evolved. I probably taught this course, I'm not exaggerating, 50 or 60 times. So things sort of change a little bit here and there. So anyway, oh, and the other thing I'll say is that you probably will see in most places or in many places Math 135. Don't let that freak you out. Math 135 is Calc 1. It's just that when we made it 4 credits this past year, it changed numbers to 134. So don't worry that most things are going to say Math 135. That's you. That's our class. Okay. And if you have any questions throughout the course on content or on anything, feel free to send me an email. If you have a question about a problem, a good rule of thumb is that typing math is nobody likes typing math. If you can type it though, or if you think it's reasonable to ask me the question just by typing me an email, that's fine. But if you're having sort of a like, well, I tried this problem, but I keep getting a different answer than what you got, or any of those sorts of things, do me a favor and do us both a favor, I should say. If you've tried a problem and you've got it worked out on paper, just send me a photo of the paper of what you've done. That's generally the best way for me to kind of see if you're going wrong somewhere in a problem. The best chance I have of trying to help you is to see where you've gone wrong, which can sometimes be tough to do if you're just sort of sending a text only email. Okay, so I leave it to you to decide if you have a question or even if you are unsure about what step is wrong in this problem that you've been working on. You tried it 3 times and you still get a wrong answer and things like that. Just send me a quick little photo and a little description of your question, and just say And I may do the same thing back. I may send you a quick photo of me writing some stuff down. Since again, typing math kind of sucks. So feel free to use technology and the fact that it's so easy to take a picture of something, and feel free to send that along if you have a question about a problem. Okay? So good luck with the course, good luck with everything, and again, let me know if you have any questions.